Hello everyone, Lore Master of Sotek here, and in the midst of all this craziness going on with Total War Warhammer 3, which I'm sure you're all enjoying as we build up to the game's release, I have started working on some projects in the background that are going to be coming out on the channel as they are finished, and one of those is that it's time for a new Q&A series, which I for some reason decided that for this one, since we did a kind of not as well known faction for the last Q&A series being the Chaos Dwarfs, and then I think we did the Ogre Kingdoms before that, and then the Greenskins were before that. It's been a little while, I think, since we've done a good Order faction, but it's also been a while since I've done one of the races that I consider to be kind of core to Warhammer Fantasy. You know, the kinds of races that I'm scared of doing Q&A series about because there's like so much infinite potential for questions. But I think it's time to return to one of those races and do a series focusing on them. So without too much further ado, I'm not going to stretch out this video forever. I'm just going to go ahead and get right to it. The next race that is going to feature on the Q&A series is the Empire. So we are going to be, I'm going to be doing everything in my power to answer any and all questions y'all may have about the Empire. That's right, it's finally time, it's finally here. I'm sure it's going to be an absolute nightmare, but we'll do our best. So, a couple quick things. I will be collecting questions from 3 places. If you are a patron on Patreon, I'm going to be putting up a post today where you'll be able to submit questions, and those are going to kind of be the highest priority ones. And then the rest of them will either be here on this YouTube video, just post a comment, literally just leave a comment, and if you could do me a favor and just put like Empire question before you write the question, just so when I'm going through the comments, it's a lot easier for me to just be able to breeze by the ones that are just maybe people reacting or what have you. But if you have an actual question, try and do that. Also, if you can, try and make it where if you have multiple questions, just do one post, and if you come up with more questions later, come back to your post and edit it to add them. Don't just like spam post. It makes it a little bit easier for me when I am in the question collecting phase, which is probably the most horrible part of how we do this, but there's really no easier way to do it, I honestly think. And then the last place I'll be collecting questions from is on my Discord server. I will be reopening the Q&A questions channel today. I will note, if you have a question, use one of these places. If you're a patron, use the Patreon question area. If you're watching here on YouTube, use that one, or use the Discord one. Don't post it in all of them. It just adds to the clutter and is going to make the video take longer to come out. As a reminder, this particular series usually will take a while, which, you know, unless you've joined here very recently, you know that soon around here is like months, usually, maybe years. Hopefully this one will only be in the month or 2-month category, but I'm basically going to leave questions open for 1 week. Un week. I don't know what week is in Spanish. So that's it. You get 1 week. And if you have any questions that come up after that, too bad, so sad. You know, we'll come back to the Empire another day. I want to also go ahead and note that this will be about the Empire specifically, but that will include Marienburg. So we're going to have the Empire and Marienburg as one unit. So if you ask me questions about Kislev, unless it pertains to the Empire, I'm not going to answer that. If you have a question about Bretonnia, unless it pertains to the Empire, I'm not going to answer that. If you have a question about Talea, the Border Princes, any of those guys, unless it pertains to the Empire, I'm not going to answer that. The only notable exception would be, just to kind of help people figure out what kind of questions I want to ask, would be like some of the colonies in the New World, for instance. You could ask questions about those, and if I can dig up an answer to it, I'll be able to do my best to answer it. So once again, just to remind you of how the series works, everyone's going to be able to ask any question they want. Go wild, have fun. You have 1 week to ask whatever questions you can think of. Do me a favor and try and like think about it and try and word it carefully. Try and use proper spelling and grammar if you can. I know not everyone on here has English as their first language, and I'll make do, but it makes it a lot easier for me to figure out what your question is. Of course, beyond that, once the timer is up, I will stop answering questions, or I'll stop gathering questions. And the questions that I do have, what I will do is that I will condense everybody's questions, which I'm sure there's almost assuredly going to be hundreds, maybe even over 1,000 of them. I'm going to condense them all down by basically, if I see any questions that seem like they're asking the same thing, I'm going to take the essence of the questions, combine them into one, and I will just, whenever I'm answering the questions, your name will be included somewhere in the video. I'm not gonna like say it out loud because otherwise I'd be there forever and it's just a waste of time, but you'll like see it like flash up on the page or in the description. That'll have all the timestamps and everything. So if so don't be, you know, do your best. If you want super amazing extra bonus points, feel free to like look through wherever you're gonna post your comment, maybe like look through the other questions and see if someone's asked something similar to you, in which case you can go, oh, I don't need to ask that question. But I know that's a lot to ask, so I'm not expecting that to happen. But in any event, I hope you're all looking forward to it. I think the Chaos Dwarf Q&A was a huge success. That was, I think, by far the best Q&A series we've done so far. I know it took also the longest to come out, but thanks to that, it was the best organized. We also got to have like a really cool kind of interview with the Chaos Dwarf community as a part of it, and a bunch of other cool stuff. So I hope the Empire can be just as good. And you know, don't expect this to come out in like there's no way. I'll put it this way: there is zero chance this will be done in a month, especially with Total War Warhammer 3 stuff. I'm just using this opportunity to start gathering questions and get organized. So you know, this will come out when it's done. And just like I did with the Chaos Dwarf Q&A, I'm not going to release it until the entire thing is done. Or at least very, very close to being done. That way I don't get in a weird situation where like there ends up being like a multi-month long gap between episodes, because I don't want to do that. So thank you all so much for watching. I apologize for the info dump, but just, you know, hopefully that provides a little bit of scope. Once again, you can feel free to ask anything and everything about the Empire. It could be about characters, history, culture, whatever. I will do my best to answer it. You know, once again, it's worth noting that the lore is evolving right now, which is something I need to do a video on because it's a pretty fascinating topic. So I'll be doing my best to answer the questions with the materials that exist at this moment. But there's a lot of stuff being printed about the Empire as we speak, so things may change. But in any event, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're excited for Total War Warhammer 3, and yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.